Yes, everybody. Welcome back in the building. We got some breaking news tonight. One of our real exciting young talents that came through the academy, Jarell Quansah. It looks like he's going to be heading. And it looks like this window is just business between Liverpool and Leverkusen. That's both ways. Now it seems like it's both ways because we already signed Frimpong and Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz, by the way, flew into Liverpool today. He's in the UK right now. So the announcement could be tomorrow. But anyways, this right here is on Jarell Quansah because it seems like he's heading the other way. He's heading to Germany to play under Ten Hag, who has replaced Xavi Alonso as the head coach of Leverkusen. But guys, what do you make of this deal? David Ornstein is saying that the deal is worth around £34 million, which is around 40 million euros. All things considered, I think it's a very good deal for Liverpool, considering for him, I think it was kind of a no-brainer because for Liverpool, he would continue to be a squad player. You saw last season how Slot didn't completely trust him. We saw the first match week against Ipswich, he did start and Slot took him off at halftime for Ibu Konate. So I think from the first match week, we saw that Slot didn't completely trust him, probably less than Klopp did. And for him to get this opportunity to potentially start for Leverkusen, who are a Champions League side, I can understand him taking that opportunity. You know what I mean? And for Liverpool, from a PSR point of view, we didn't pay any fee for him. So for us to be able to raise funds of £34 million, again, for a player, you remember PSR, it depends what you sign that player for. For a player that we didn't sign him for any kind of fee is a very good deal for Liverpool Football Club. And I'm not surprised that this moved quickly. You know, and there isn't a here we go yet, but everything looks like it's going to be done just because Jarell Quansah wants to move. He's agreed personal terms. And then on the other side of things, it seems like Liverpool are open to selling and Leverkusen want the player. So for around that fee, I think it makes sense. I think it makes a whole lot of sense for both parties. You know, and again, if I put myself in the shoes of Jarell Quansah, I just want to start in this moment in his career, you know, and that's what he'll get at Leverkusen. There's no way they spend 40 million euros on a player if he's not starting in the team. There's just no way. They don't have those kind of funds. You know what I mean? So you guys are asking, we need a new center back now. Bro, we already need a new center back. We already needed a new center back. And now we're going to go for a center back 1,000%. 1,000%. I mean, already it was sure that we were going to sign a center back. I think pretty much with Quansah leaving, it's even more of a necessity. And who do I think will come in his place? Probably Mark Gahey, the Crystal Palace captain. I think he's the one we go for. Why? Because with Quansah leaving and the homegrown spot that he fills, I think we're going to need to bring in an English defender. And Mark Gahey makes so much sense in many different ways. One of the main reasons is because he has 1 year left on his contract. So Palace would be willing to let him leave earlier than usual. You know what I mean? And on the other hand, I think with them trying to sign Diomande from Sporting, I think it's a sign that they know Gahey's going to be leaving this summer. He just needs to be guaranteed game time at Liverpool. But again, with the amount of games coming up, and the amount of competitions, Gahey will get that time. You know what I mean? But he's a proven leader. He's an England international. I think he could be the one. He can play left center back. He can play right center back. I think he will be the one to come in the place. Again, he fills a homegrown spot. He's still young. He turns 25 next season. He's an experienced player, a leader. I can see that one happening. I really can. I think he would be excited by the Liverpool move, you know? Joseph says, I understand why he's going because he's a great player who gets little game time and he'll get even more game time at Leverkusen. Exactly, 100%. Yo, Garvin, nice to see you in the building. Yes, of course. This was... Mark Gahey is a great defender. What do you guys think? I want to hear in the chat right now if you guys could design one defender, but it has to be realistic, okay? One defender to replace Jarell Quansah in the market. For a central defender that we bring in, who would you want? I want to see what you guys are mentioning in the chat. Because for me, the two options that I see as being the most realistic that I could really see happening are, like I said, Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace because he has 1 year left. And there's been lots of rumors today from a number of different sources. And then on the other hand, I think Jordan Hato, because we're Dutch FC at this point, and the fact that he can play center back and left back, and our left back position this season is going to be very undecided. Obviously, Kirkez is going to be coming in, but Robbo could leave, Costas could leave. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen in that left back department. But like I was saying before, I personally think Jarell Hato would make a lot of sense, and I think Mark Guéhi would make a lot of sense. Garvit, thank you very much for being a community support member for 16 months, who says Benzema ain't happy with me anymore. Welcome, Verts. Oh, I love that. Your profile picture. That profile picture, by the way, the editor of the channel, Matija, my brada, made that edit. He made that edit for Liverpool goals, so it's beautiful. You love to see it. Vazudev, thank you very much for the super chat, who says, I'm worried about Konate, Leo. Me too, bro. I'm worried, but at the same time, I'm not, because I think we're going to push hard to keep him, because we know it's going to be incredibly difficult to replace him in the market, and therefore I think we will push. Mervin says, Guéhi is a starter. He wants to start often. We have Konate and Virgil already as starters. Maybe Hato is more sensible, and it makes more sense. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like I was saying before, the amount of games that we play, I think Guéhi would get a lot of first-team football. I think he would. But I understand what you're saying, especially with the World Cup coming up. He's going to want to be in that squad, because he already has, I think, 23 caps for England, which is pretty good. You know, he's just 24, turning 25. So, yeah, it's one to look out for. It's one to look out for. I see a lot of you guys saying Bastoni. I don't think that's realistic. A lot of you guys are saying Bastoni. I don't think that's realistic. I'm sorry. I don't see it. Uchiwa says, we get 60 million euros for Darwin and 40 million for Quansah. What do you think we should spend that 100 million on? We may have more funds coming in. Bro, Isak. Alexander Isak. And then we go for Jarell Hato. That's what I would do. Bro, go big on a striker. Go freaking big on a striker, because why not? He doesn't compare to anyone else in the market. And though there's more and more rumors that he could be available, that he could potentially be available. Neil Thompson, nice to see you in the building, who says, Leo, my mind is saying that Guéhi signing is not to replace Quansah. I'm wondering if behind the scenes they know Konate is going, so would tell me Guéhi is going to replace him, not Quansah. That's hard to know. That's honestly hard to know. Jonathan Tan, no, bro, no chance. He just moved to Bayern. There's no chance of that one. He did, right? Jonathan Tan just moved on a free transfer, or am I missing something here? Then he would really be Liverpool and Leverkusen. Yeah, he just moved to Bayern, so there's no chance. And he played well in his first Club World Cup game. I mean, to be fair, they won 10-0 Bayern. But I don't know. Neil, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but my hope, what I believe, and I'm still hopeful of, is that Ibou Konate will stay. Why? Not because I'm ludicrous or anything like that. I think Liverpool are aware of how difficult it will be to replace Ibou Konate, and therefore we're going to be willing to offer him the money that he's demanding. Because losing him on a free to Real Madrid would be a big blow again, because we already lost Trent to Real Madrid on a free. I think Real Madrid will be putting pressure on Ibou again to try to get him on a free, and I don't want that happening. Liverpool don't want that happening, so I think we'll give him the money he's asking for, or at least close to it. Go12 has been a community support member for 18 months. Big up, who says 18 months now. That's amazing. Let's get to 24, lad. That's unbelievable. Big up, Go12. Absolute OG in the building. I appreciate you. Leo, what's up? Back in the building. I think it's a good move for Quansah. Absolutely, Jack. Absolutely. Quick question. Out of all the World Cups you've watched, which one is your favorite? I think I have to say the one that France won. Because France is the national team that I support, so I have to say France. But honestly, so many beautiful World Cup memories, and I'm so excited for next summer. Liverpool Goals TV, nice to see you in the building, who says the defender will be for the bench. It won't be someone like Guéhi, because he'll want regular football. People seriously need to think. I disagree. Liverpool Goals TV, the reason I disagree is because of the amount of games that there's now being played within football. I think Guéhi will know he'll get minutes, a lot of minutes for Liverpool Football Club. Seriously, with all the competitions we're in, we're probably going to go far in most competitions. Ibou Konate has a bit of a injury record from the past. I think he'll believe, if he comes to Liverpool Football Club, that he can still find a way to get minutes. And that's why I kind of disagree with that. And I think he believes it's a move where he can come in and really fight for a place. Even though I understand he's the Crystal Palace captain right now. But I think he will move on this summer, because he has 1 year left, and Palace won't want to lose him on a free. I really do believe that Palace will make him available this summer. And that's one of the reasons why I think Diomande is a player that Crystal Palace is trying to sign right now. That's what the Times was saying today. The Sporting CP center back. Truck City, thank you very much for becoming a community support member. I want you spamming those emojis. Big up, bro. Big up. Would you swap Darwin for Ronaldo? Nah, I do not want Ronaldo. I'm sorry. He's a legend of football, but I want somebody for the future, not someone who's past his prime. We ain't signing. I think it's possible. You need JSM back? Yeah, I want him back too, but he's doing a world tour right now in the US, going to so many Club World Cup games. Big up to my boy James. Big up to my boy James. Yo, Goal Rush, nice to see you in the building. We need center backs. We will be signing center backs. Don't you worry. And I think right now the most likely option probably is Marguehi. I think that's probably the most likely option. From the rumors that I've seen today, at least, and all the talk that I've seen today. It's not a here we go yet, but everything is indicating that he will be leaving, Jarell Quansah. But yeah, like I said, for PSR, not many people are mentioning this because PSR is not something that we football fans are that involved with, obviously. But that would have played a role too. The fact I understand he fills a homegrown spot, but the fact that Quansah comes from our academy, I think he joined our academy when he was 9 years old or something. The fact that Quansah comes from our academy and we're selling him for around 40 million euros, that's going to play a big role in balancing the books. Trust me, you guys. It's going to play a big role. And that's one of the reasons why I do think we were willing to let him go, even if he had a lot of potential and he was one for the future, you know? Yo, Tommy, nice to see you in the building. He says, just join OMG. I haven't seen this news. That's insane. It is indeed. It is indeed. Kicking Football says, Leo, Messi, Ronaldo. I think for players that look like humans on the football pitch, Ronaldo. But every time I would watch Messi, I felt like he was playing a different sport because he was on a different level. So, yeah, for me, Messi is the best I've ever watched in my lifetime. I remember growing up, I spent many years in New York when I was growing up. I would turn on beIN Sports just to watch Barcelona, just to watch Lionel Messi. And that's because, again, every single week, that's what's great. For me, the most unbelievable thing is there's lots of players over the course of football history who have unbelievable talent. I'm thinking of players like Neymar, like Ronaldinho, but Messi delivered every single week for 20 years. And that for me is the most impressive part because you can have unbelievable ability and take it for granted. And I think Messi never did that. And that's why he was able to be so consistent. Nobody ever gives him credit for the hard work because Ronaldo, it was made so clear about Ronaldo's hard work. But I think for Messi to be that consistent showed that in his mentality, he works so hard because you can never be consistent without hard work. I don't care how talented you are over that many years. And for me, that's why I really define it as a player on the football pitch that looked like human. Ronaldo's the GOAT, but a player that looked out of place in terms of how good he was. Like he was just a level above everybody else. For me, that's Lionel Messi. And like I said, I would turn on beIN Sports. I remember every single weekend growing up as a teen, not necessarily to watch Barca, but to watch Messi because I couldn't believe. And I just knew he would do unbelievable things every single weekend. And I was never let down. Not once. Which is just crazy. Big up Fishy1. Thank you for being a community support member for 8 months. Who says, I broke my toe. How did you break your toe, bro? By playing football? Chan says, why not try for Julian Alvarez? A more realistic target, even if we need to pay 100 mil. Less injury prone, and he knows the Premier League too. I agree. I would love Julian Alvarez, but the problem is Atletico paid 95 million euros last season. So why would they sell now? I don't think they would sell for anything less than 150 million, and I'm not even sure they're willing to sell this summer because they're in such a good position. So I think Julian Alvarez is just so out of the picture. That's the problem. I think he's just so out of the picture. Honestly speaking, you know what I mean? Tried a tried a poke free kick. So you were playing football, fishy. Yo, Elena, nice to see you in the building. What's good? Do you think Gehi is good enough for us? Yes. Yes. He's experienced and he's still very young. But the problem is, it seems like he wants guaranteed minutes. Do I think we can still offer him that? I think so. I don't think he'll be a starter week in, week out. But like I said, with the amount of games that we play, I still think he can get a lot of minutes. I still think so. Chalk City, thank you very much for the super chat again. Who says Harvey to Leverkusen for 35 million? Who says no? I say no. I think we need minimum 40 million pounds. Why do I say that? Because he's already made 100 appearances for Liverpool Football Club. I think he's very underrated for Liverpool because even though he barely got any starts last season or maybe the season before, I feel like every time he played for Liverpool Football Club, he proved that he can be a difference maker in the big moments. Think about the winner at PSG. He showed basically that he's not just potential, but that he delivers on moments. And I think to be able to do that, he's 21, 22, to be able to do that already at his young age, for me, if I'm a team looking to sign someone and thinking that Harvey can be a starter, for me, that's basically guaranteed success. Why? Because he has the right mentality. He has the ability. He has so much experience already at a young age. And I think if we let him go for anything less than 40 million pounds in this market, for me, that's really poor business. And I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. So I would say no to that. But if they're willing to pay 40 million pounds plus, I would say yes, because it seems like he's another player that will be moved on this summer because we're bringing in Florian Wirtz, who plays a similar role. And already last season, he barely got any starts. So for his career, it makes a lot of sense for him to leave. You know what I mean? It does, if we're being honest. Has Florian Wirtz landed in Liverpool? Yes, he has landed. From what I've seen, he's landed, and he's probably passing the first part of his medical right now as we speak. No joke. I really think so. As we speak. I still think our dream, what I think our owners or Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes sees as our dream right now is, let's say, for example, Robbo leaves for Atletico Madrid. I think our dream is to bring in Hato for him because he can play left back and he can play center back. I think our dream is to get Mark Gehi in for Quansah. And I think if Chiesa and Darwin both leave, which I think is very likely that both leave, then I think our dream is to get Alexander Isak for the fee that we get for Chiesa and Darwin. I think if we bring in those three players and we bring out those four players, that would be like our dream. That's what we're hoping for right now. Whether that actually comes to fruition or not, only time will tell. We'll see. We shall see. But what do I think about Romero? I'm not so sure I don't know. Why Hato? One more Dutch, bro, because we're Dutch FC. What do you think? Here we go, bro. We already got the here we go for Wirtz. He's already in the UK right now. He's flown in from Cologne. From Köln, a city that I love, by the way, in Germany. Love that city. But yeah, bro. Wirtz official announcement could be tomorrow. It really could be tomorrow, which I'm so hyped about. Come on. I'm so hyped about that. So freaking hyped about that. Yeah. In the end, Leverkusen will be paying more for Quansah than they paid for Frimpong, which is kind of crazy when you think about it that way. But nah, with him leaving, I'm telling you guys, we will be signing center backs. Yo, Filani says, I'm in the building and I'm buzzing to be a Liverpool fan right now. Me too. Bro, I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of more business to come this summer. Trust. This is the third of our outgoings. What am I saying? Guys, after this deal gets over the line, which is going to be around £34 million, let me just do the math. Trent brought us £10 million, right, from Real Madrid. So that's £44 million. And Kelleher brought us about, what was the fee again? I think it was around 18 million when you include add-ons. So overall, it's over £50 million that we've already raised in funds. And I know we've signed Frimpong, Wirtz, and we're about to get Kirkez over the line. But guys, this is only the start of our outgoings, and we've already raised 50 million plus. Close to 60 million. What am I saying? 60 million pounds. From just letting Trent go early to Real Madrid, that was 10 million pounds. Kelleher, who was in his last year of his contract, he went to Brentford for around 18 million. And now it's going to be Quansah, who goes to Leverkusen for around 34. Very good business when you talk about selling point of view. I think it was around 18 when you include add-ons. Do you see City as a threat next season? Yes, Salim. The two teams that I think will be title challengers next season, and this is stating the obvious, Arsenal and City, 100%. Next, Isaac, bro, I would die. I would die if that happened. I would really die if that happened. That would be a dream come true. Absolute dream come true. Yo, Serge, nice to see you in the building. Sign new backup young center back. I think that could be Jarell Hato. That could be Jarell Hato. Who's the best dribbler in the world right now? I would say Rio Anma. Rio Anma. No, I'm just kidding. Best dribbler in the world? I think Lamine Yamal is pretty unstoppable when he dribbles. Him or Rio Anma? No, for real though, I do hope Rio Anma gets a chance in the cup competitions. In the early rounds of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. I hope he gets game time on the left wing. Because he did impress when he played. And he really is one for the future. Yeah, I think Tyler Morton will leave this summer 100%. Who knows, maybe he'll go to Leverkusen. They showed interest in the past too. But yeah, if I could say from all that I've watched, I would probably say Lamine Yamal. Yo, Liverpool edits. Nice to see you in the building. Does Bajcetic count as a homegrown? I think he does, if I'm not mistaken. Because of the age he came, I think he counts. But what's for sure is obviously if we brought in Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace, he would count as a homegrown. 100% he would. Because he's English. Do you think Liverpool are going to be in the title race next season? Yes, of course. Bro, look at the movement. Look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing in the transfer market this summer. We mean business. Boy, do we mean business. And we already won the league title in April last season. Nah, we gotta get Ibu Konate extended. We really have to get Ibu Konate extended. I don't care. If Isaac joins, how is Szoboszlai and Wirtz starting? Bro, it's the same thing I was saying with Mark Gahey. There's so many games to be played. That competition for places is not a bad thing at the highest level. It's really not a bad thing. And we're not saying a million places either. If Alexander Isak came in, trust me, I think it would be for sure that Chiesa and Darwin would leave, for example. For me, if I look at our 6 attackers currently, the 2 for me that are most likely to leave are Chiesa and Darwin. And so spaces will be freed up. But yeah, I agree. Szoboszlai will have to fight for his spot. Wirtz will have to fight for his spot. Jota will have to fight for his spot. All of those things are good things. So long as we have players who have the mentality, and trust me, Szoboszlai, from the interviews that you listen to, he sounds like the type of player that's willing to put in the work to earn that spot, to make sure that he's performing week in, week out to keep his spot in the team. And that's what you need to win the biggest trophies. I'm not saying 3 players in every position, but 2 players in every position is not a bad thing. It's really not a bad thing, especially when we're talking about the likes of Soboslai and Wirtz fighting for a spot, because they're both unbelievable. You know what I mean? So, not complaining. Not complaining whatsoever. Ryan says, if we get Isaac, we'll do an invincible treble. Bro, I just hope if Newcastle sign Joao Pedro, I think they'd be more open to selling Isaac. And I think if you tell Isaac, he is a Newcastle legend. There's no doubt about that. I think he wants to leave Newcastle because the Newcastle fan base is unbelievable. I have so much respect for Newcastle. I think he would only leave Newcastle in the best way if he was able to leave Newcastle in a nice way this summer. I think he would be over the moon to make that move to Liverpool, because obviously, with all due respect to Newcastle, and I think it is a beautiful football club, and I've been to the city of Newcastle, and the people there are so nice, so I'm never going to speak down, but it is an upgrade to go from Newcastle to Liverpool, because it is the Premier League champions, and Liverpool will be pushing hard for the Champions League next season. He'll get to play with the likes of Florian Wirtz and Mohamed Salah. He would be over the moon with a move like that. Let's be honest, he would be. But I don't think it happens unless he can do it in a nice way, because I think he has a lot of respect for Newcastle, and I don't see him forcing a move. But like I said, the rumors are saying that Newcastle want to sign Joao Pedro from Brighton, who's a very good, number 9 as well. If that happens, I could see that helping us in making the case, in forcing or trying to kind of force this move in Alexander Isak joining Liverpool this summer with Darwin leaving. You really never know, What? Yeah, I'm done. I mean, to be fair, Leverkusen and Ten Hag are going to make a lot of signings this summer. I mean, they let go of Florian Wirtz for £100 million up front. Frimpong, they're going to get £10 million up front because we're paying £10 million over 3 seasons. They're going to get £110 million just from selling Wirtz and Frimpong. That's a lot of money. So they'll definitely be bringing in players this summer. There's no doubt. And it looks like the first one is going to be actually a Liverpool player. So we really continue the business between Liverpool and Leverkusen. They're going to sign Quansah for around £34 million, like I was saying earlier. Me too. PC. I mean, the fact that Florian Wirtz is in Liverpool right now is still something I'm in disbelief. I need to see the content from Liverpool, but obviously it's a done deal. All the most reliable journalists have spoken about it. But thank you, Paddy LFC. But yeah, like I was saying, when it becomes official, I think I'm still gonna be in a bit of disbelief, and this is why I'm not throwing it out of the question for us to sign Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz. Why? Because if you had told me that we'd sign Florian Wirtz in May, I think I would have told you there's a 1% chance. I genuinely would have told you there's a 1% chance it happens if you had told me in May that we would go on to sign Florian Wirtz, because of how much I knew it would cost to get him in this market. But we got it over the line. And the fact that we got it over the line tells me that we mean business this summer and that we want to retain that title. We want to make it 21 league titles next season, and we want to go for the Champions League. You don't make that type of business unless you know you want to go for the 2 big trophies, and that's what we want next season. That's what we freaking want! And that's why I cannot wait for the first game of the season against Bournemouth at Anfield, nighttime kickoff on a Friday night. My goodness, the level of hype I'm going to have for that game is going to be different gravy. You guys are going to see, I know you can all relate, but it's just going to be absolutely different gravy. I have seen the fixtures, and all I can think about so far is the first one, because that's the next one in the calendar. And the next one in the calendar is one that I just want it to be tomorrow. I want it to be tomorrow so I can see Florian Wirtz playing under the lights at Anfield. The fact that it's going to be a nighttime kickoff too, bro. The atmosphere is going to be unbelievable. You best believe it's going to be like a European atmosphere on a Friday night. Bro, with the buzz after the transfer window we had, I wish I was going to that game. But, man, it's going to be special. I'm not going to be going to that game, no. But anyways, I'm so hyped to be able to be in the building live with you guys to do a watch along. I'm so hyped for that. I'm going to be in Iceland during that time. Yo, Zach, nice to see you in the building, who says, I'm so excited for next season. We basically completed Wirtz, Kirkez, Frimpong, and we're instantly moving to Isaac and Gehi. I'm loving the way we're moving fast this window. Me too. Me too. And honestly, I don't think we would have sold Jarell Quansah unless we really were confident about getting a center back in his place. I think we would not have moved this quickly with the Quansah deal if we didn't have someone in place, whether that's Marc Guéhi or Jarell Hato. I don't care. I would be very happy with those two signings. I'm telling you, I don't think we would have moved that quickly unless we had a plan, because Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes are showing that they're the best in the business. They really are. Hello, being human. Nice to see you in the building. What's good? We need 2 more center backs. That's why I can see us signing Marc Guéhi and Jarell Hato, for example. I think we could sign a versatile defender who can play, like I said. Jarell Hato, for me, is the most obvious option because we're Dutch FC, because he has so much potential, because he went to Anfield last season. He's close with Gravenberch. We obviously have such a strong connection there. There's been rumors. And like I said, I think I looked at his numbers for Ajax. He's 19 years old? He's already played 60 games at left back and 60 games at center back, I'm pretty sure. Those are crazy numbers. So I could definitely see him being one that we move for. But he's another one that's difficult to get over the line like Marc Guéhi. Why? Because I think he's going to want guaranteed minutes because he's a starter for Ajax right now. Ajax will be in the Champions League. I can understand a player of that age. And for example, Guéhi, I can understand him wanting regular minutes ahead of the World Cup because he'll want to start for England. That's what a lot of the players have their eyes on. And that's what's difficult for Arne Slot. How does he go towards these players with the incredibly strong squad that we already have and tell them, listen, you'll get X amount of minutes next season? Because trust me, that's the conversations they're going to be having. Because there's no doubt that Marc Guéhi wants to be a Liverpool player. There's no doubt that Jarell Hato wants to be a Liverpool player. But they need to be playing. And that's a difficult thing when you're already such a good team that's just won the Premier League and only just lost out to penalties to the Champions League winner in PSG. You know what I mean? It's a very difficult thing. But again, only good news. Only good news for us. That's what's for sure. It's only good news. Yo, Absolute Mula, my brother. Nice to see you in the building. Nice to see you. We will trust Richard Hughes. Exactly. Honestly, can everybody spam W's in the building right now? Because I don't know how long this is going to last. You look at other football clubs like Chelsea and United who have a whole lot of money, who are big football clubs. And I can't imagine if I was a fan of either one of those clubs, I would be worried about every transfer because of how things have gone in the last 5 years. As a Liverpool fan, I can just sit back and trust that what we do is the right thing because of who's in charge. And that we cannot take for granted because, again, I don't know how long that's going to last. But right now, I'm in just such comfort and confidence that whoever we sign, I'm going to back to be successful. So I want straight W's spammed in the building right now. Straight W's spammed in the building. Because like I said, we might not have the money of a Man City. But boy, do we spend our money wisely. And boy, do we sell smartly. Like I said, this Quansah deal, which will be very good for PSR because he came through our academy and we sold him for £34 million. Very intelligent. Again, I think us Liverpool fans can just sit back and say, yes, we trust the process. And because we're obviously not in charge, it's not within our control, that is such a blessing because we don't have to be worried about what's going on behind the scenes. We know that whoever's coming in, we're just going to show our full support as fans. And we have a top coach that they chose, by the way, in Arne Slot, who should get the best out of those players, just like he got the best out of Gravenberch this season. He got the best out of Cody Gakpo this season and many other players. And that's what a top coach does. So, only good news for us. Big Up Arun says, looks like we picked the right cherries. What do you mean by right cherries? Looks like we picked the right cherries. Bro, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Diomande or Inacio for me. Bro, it looks like Diomande is going to go to Crystal Palace because they know Marc Guéhi is going to be leaving. Äter isländskor. Jag lika. Yeah, I don't know. I think we haven't been linked with Diomande so far. We haven't been linked with him, to be perfectly honest. We haven't been. But yeah, I do feel for Quansah. It just shows in football, though, how it really is about those fine margins. Because under Klopp, I think a lot of us had the confidence that he could definitely be a starting center back for Liverpool. And it just, under Slot, I don't know what it is, but he's just lost so much confidence, especially after that United game where he made one mistake. Remember that led, I think, to the Bruno goal. It just feels like Slot is so harsh, and maybe he needed a manager that's just going to put his arm around his shoulder and just fully kind of trust him. You know what I mean? And I think Klopp was that kind of manager, and I think he did look very good under Jurgen Klopp. But in this last season, he didn't quite look like himself. And I understand, like, again, I'm not going to judge him now because he's so young. So he still has so much time to develop, and we shouldn't be that harsh. But to me, he didn't quite look like this last season, like the player that he was under under Jurgen Klopp. Arun, thank you very much for the super chat again. Who says I meant Kirkez and Hughes from Bournemouth? Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I'll read you guys the quote from Kirkez's dad, which I think says a whole lot about Richard Hughes, because we obviously don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but he was on some show, Kirkez's dad, and he said this as a quote: "It's only Liverpool for us, and we're not going anywhere else, and we won't talk to other clubs. Everything is done between us in terms of personal terms. We just need to sort out some final details, but it's basically a done deal. Richard Hughes brought us to Bournemouth. If he said we go to India, then we go to India. Everything is agreed, just some little things left." So, again, we don't know what really goes on behind the scenes in terms of our main sporting director in Richard Hughes, but clearly he's well respected in the industry. If a player like Milos Kerkez, who would have had many suitors this summer, I think Real Madrid were interested, City were interested, the fact that they only have their eyes set on Liverpool tells me that Richard Hughes would have had a conversation with his family, with him, with his agents, or his agent, and said, Liverpool is the best place for you to develop, because he's 21 years old, 22? And the fact that they fully trust him tells me that, yes, he's very well respected in the industry, you know? I've never been more excited for preseason. Me too, Zach. I never thought that I could be more excited. Jeff Bloomberg, that could be a great idea for a long-form video, if you guys would want to see that. Premier League predictions 1 through 20. Even though I know I would butcher it. I would absolutely butcher it. Just like I could have never, ever predicted United and Spurs finishing where they did last season. It just shows Premier League is the most unpredictable league in the world. Absolute Muller, I just said it was so good to see you in the building, my brother. I hope you're doing well. And hopefully, you know what? At the Club World Cup, I'm going to say it. I hope for you that Muller wins it in his last few games for Bayern Munich. Because I don't know who to support the Club World Cup. I'm not too involved in that tournament. But for you, my brother, I hope it ends in the most beautiful way for Thomas Muller, because he's a legend of the game, and I don't care who you support. We were talking about Luka Modric when he came on for Real Madrid yesterday. I think he's one of those players, no matter who you support, you can't hate him. I think Thomas Muller is another one of those players. I don't care who you support, you have a whole lot of respect for him. When will the Wirtz medical video be out? Not till this weekend, but I think Wirtz will be officially announced by Liverpool tomorrow, I think. Even if it's just a short video. But because he flew into Liverpool today, and because he's probably passing the first part of his medical today and the second part tomorrow, I think we'll probably get some content tomorrow officially from Liverpool, which is so exciting. Too freaking excited. Too freaking excited. Come on. Love from France and Iceland. Ultra speed. There's no way. Thomas Muller is funny too. I know. Madrid should have taken the penalty yesterday. I agree, bro. I agree. Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate you. Tomorrow's the day, bro. I know tomorrow's the day. Marguehi, by the way, he's only 24 years old, so he's still young. And I was checking earlier, he already has 23 caps for England, I think. So he's already an experienced winner, an experienced player, and a winner and a captain. He obviously led Crystal Palace to the FA Cup last season. I think it would make a lot of sense so long as he'd be able to accept the role within the team. Because for me, the priority, if you had to tell me between signing Marguehi and getting Ibou Konate to extend, I would prioritize extending Ibou Konate. I really would. And main reason being that he's Premier League and Champions League proven alongside Virgil, and he's still young. And I just love him around the team. So for me, that would be my personal priority. It really would. It really would be. Yeah, Quansah's leaving to Leverkusen, bro. He is leaving indeed. That's happening. But once Quansah departs, I think whichever center back, and we'll definitely have many names, because I think before the window even opened, I believe that we already wanted to sign a center back this summer. That's my prediction, and also what all the most reliable reporters like Luis Steele, Fabrizio Romano were saying, that we wanted to sign a center back anyway. So trust me, we would have had a number of names already on our short list, and with Quansah leaving, we'll push for one, and I think it'll be our plan A. Whoever our plan A option was, with Quansah leaving for that much money, like I said, 40 million euros, we're going to push hard for whatever that plan A option is. Whether it's Jarell Hato or Guehi, I don't know, but we will. And I think it'll move very quickly because you see how this window, we just mean business. And probably this big bid from Leverkusen was probably not something we expected from Leverkusen. But with the amount of money they obviously got for Wirtz and Frimpong, it makes sense that they were going to spend it somewhere. And it looks like we just went like this summer because there's a lot of incomings and outgoings between Liverpool and Leverkusen. That's clear to see. Clear to see. Did Wirtz fly in? Yes, he's in the UK right now. And as we speak, he's probably passing his medical. Maybe it's a little bit late. Maybe an hour prior. Leo, I graduate tomorrow. I'll be 23. Big up. Congratulations. I wonder what he'll say in his first interview. I'm so excited. But yeah, guys, big up to all of you. I appreciate you guys. This is going to be the end of the live. This was more of a breaking news one. I did not expect this Quansah news today. It looks like it's pretty much a here we go. We haven't gotten official confirmations because it's just the final details left, but this will get done 100%. Quansah wants to move. He's agreed personal terms. Liverpool clearly are open to selling, and Leverkusen have the money with the Wirtz and Frimpong sales, and with Jonathan Tah leaving as well, Xabi Alonso leaving. So, yeah, you guys, it's only a matter of time. But big up to all of you in the building, showing that support as always. There could potentially be a live tomorrow if the Wirtz news starts to drop. But this is going to be a busy next few weeks for us. It'll continue to be a busy next few weeks, but in a positive way, because we mean business this window. We mean business this summer, because we want to keep going for the whole lot next season. So big up to all of you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your night, and I will see you guys very, very soon. All the best, guys.